Hello candidates, I am going to dictate you a passage of 1000 words which is especially prepared for SSC Stenographer Skill Test 2023. So please get ready for the dictation. The dictation will start after 15 seconds. At 2:35 p.m. Indian Standard Time on July 14, the Indian Space Research Organization plans to launch the Chandrayaan 3 mission to the moon on board a launch vehicle Mark 3 from Sriharikota. Chandrayaan 3 is largely a replica of its predecessor Chandrayaan 2 that was launched in July 2019 in the form of an orbiter and a lander Vikram bearing a rover Pragyan. While the orbiter entered into orbit around the moon, the surface mission failed in September when the lander crashed instead of executing a slow descent. ISRO later identified a problem in the guidance software and unexpected dispersion in the propulsion system during certain phases of the descent. In Chandrayaan 3, the rocket will place the payload in an elliptical orbit around the Earth where a propulsion module will take over and pilot the lander to a circular orbit around the moon. Finally, the lander will detach and begin a series of maneuvers culminating in a gradual landing on August 23-24 this year over the surface. To improve the chances of success at this stage, ISRO has strengthened the leader's legs, lowered its minimum thrust, enhanced the availability of power, and upgraded the landing sequence. This will be India's second attempt to soft land a lander and rover on the lunar surface and demonstrate end-to-end capability in the relevant technologies. Soft landing on the moon is a complicated exercise and the possibility of failure exists even if it may be lower, yet there is good reason to focus on the consequences of a complete success. The mission will play out with India's decision to join the Artemis Accords in the backdrop. In this group, if the mission succeeds, the country will be just the second to have soft landed a rover on the moon. The importance of this feat cannot be overstated. A slew of public and private moon landing missions is in the works worldwide as the establishment of permanent bases on the natural satellite has emerged as a major geopolitical goal. The accords define the US led axis while China and Russia are working on an international lunar research station. The success of Chandrayaan 3 will also make it the surface mission closest to the lunar south pole to date, a region of the moon that has been found to be geologically unique and host to spots in permanent shadow. To study these and other features, the mission has 6 scientific payloads. A seventh instrument on the propulsion module will profile the science of life on Earth to help scientists look for similar signs on planets beyond the solar system. Taken together, Chandrayaan 3 offers opportunities for India to lead the world's response to the moon's growing importance in the scientific and the political milieu. India, being a diverse nation, is home to many religions, each with its distinct personal laws governing marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance, and succession. It would be accurate to say that the absence of a uniform civil code has only served to perpetuate inequalities and inconsistencies in our land of rich diversity. In fact, this has been a hindrance in the nation's progress towards social harmony, economic and gender justice. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had last week called for the enactment of a UCC, pointing out the anomaly of having varying laws for different categories of citizens. The debate on the UCC goes back to the Constituent Assembly debates. In fact, one could assert that the legality of UCC is rooted in the Constitution of India, Constituent Assembly debates, and also Supreme Court of India judgments. Constituent Assembly debates shed light on the need and the objective behind promoting a common civil code. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, the chief architect of the Indian Constitution, had made a strong case in the Constituent Assembly for framing a UCC. He stressed the importance of a UCC in ensuring gender equality and eradicating prevailing social evils. India's tryst with the goods and services tax, launched at a special midnight parliament session with unusual fanfare, completed 6 years this month. Marking the occasion, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman emphasized that the GST has moved the country towards a unified market from a situation where each state mandated different indirect tax structures and procedures, while interstate borders were marked by bottlenecked checkposts that added to logistics costs and subtracted from Indian goods competitiveness. Introduced soon after the demonetization shock, the GST was viewed as another disruptor for the informal economy, and its initial technical, structural, and procedural challenges took a while to sort out. That all businesses with annual turnover of rupees 5 crore will have to generate e-invoices starting this August, and that there has been no ostensible pushback from smaller businesses over this indicates that firms have gradually embraced the change. The revenue department's crackdown on fake invoicing and other techniques deployed by tax evaders may compel the few outliers to fall in line too. Tightening compliance and the post-pandemic rebound in economic activity have helped improve revenues from the GST, which Ms. Sitharaman had suggested were underwhelming as of late 2021, when the council set up a ministerial group to rationalize the unwidely multiple rate structure and enhance tax inflows. This June, GST revenues crossed rupees 1.6 lakh crore, only the fourth such occasion in its 72 months existence, lifting the average collections in the first quarter of this year to nearly rupees 1.7 lakh crore, a healthy 12% over last year's kitty. The recent revenue buoyancy, even if it may face a blip if consumption growth falters amid a slowing global economy, bodes will for states that were worried about their fiscal capacity after 5 years of assured revenues through GST compensation expired last July. For taxpayers and consumers, however, much remains to be done till the GST can be considered a good simple tax. GST compensation cess levies have been extended till at least March 2026 instead of the initial 5-year tenure due to the transitory shock of COVID-19 lockdowns on revenues. Dispute resolution remains a pain point for industry, with GST appellate tribunals still not set up. There is no roadmap in sight on the rate rationalization exercise or the inclusion of excluded items such as electricity, petroleum, and real estate, without which the efficiency gains from the GST remain constricted. The GST Council needs to meet more often and turns its to do list into a must do list expeditiously.